How's it going everyone, and welcome back to another video. In this video I'm going to be doing a review on the Thinktool 399 by Thinkcar. This is brand new to the market, first of its kind AI automotive diagnostic scan tool. I'm going to be taking you through some of the features that's included in this kit and giving you some real world examples of me using it in the workshop. So without further ado, let's get into this video. Having used Thinkcar's products for a very long time as my main go-to in the workshop, so all my daily tasks, Thinkcar is my main ones that I grab, I was very excited to hear about their new release with the AI integrated into a scan tool. And when Logicar reached out to me and asked me would I be interested in doing this video, I was extremely excited to get my hands in it. So I want to thank Logicar for sponsoring this video. Logicar is the main exclusive supplier of Thinkcar in Australia, and if you have any questions or queries related to the content I'm showing, be sure to reach out to them and I'll have all their information in the description. Okay, so the layout of this video will be as follows. I'm just going to talk briefly about the new features that's included in this model at the start of it. I'm then going to talk a little bit about the AI, for those of you not familiar with AI, artificial intelligence, what that actually kind of looks like and how it can be integrated into a scan tool. I'm then going to go on to the unboxing side, share with you some of the hardware and specs that you get inclusive of this kit. Then I'm going to be going on to some of the real world examples where I'm testing out the scan tool and using it in the workshop. So that's going to be how we're going to run through this process, and I'm going to start off by talking about the actual new features. New features, we have dual diagnostics. So that means if you have a workshop that has a host of different techs in it, what's very familiar or common in workshops is that we share diagnostic tools. These are extremely expensive, powerful tools that we need, and we're not going to be getting multiple ones of them for everyone in the workshop. You'll find that some techs buy their own, but in a lot of cases, we have to share equipment in the workshop with one another. If one tech is using it for a very long time, it can hurt the flow of the workshop quite badly. So having dual diagnostics is a new feature, one that I haven't seen in any other scan tool as well, and something that could be extremely beneficial for high traffic workshops. Where that would benefit you is you would buy a second VCI. So this is the VCI that comes with the scan tool, but you could buy a second one of those and you will be able to use a split screen system to communicate with two different vehicles. And just a simple example of that is if you had someone doing in-depth diagnosing on one vehicle, let's say you have to run the vehicle up to operating temperature and he's monitoring live data, he can't disconnect from that. Maybe he's doing a screen record capturing it, and someone wants to do something simple like an adaptation, a relearn, or a service reset, and they need to use the scan tool. That is where the additional dual diagnostic VCI can come in and can help you with efficient flow in your workshop. So that's an exciting new feature and one that hasn't been seen in a scan tool before. The next exciting new feature is the integration of AI in this 399. It is a fantastic bit of technology that's been rolled out in a scan tool. Where that may lead in the weeks and months that precede this video are unknown. It is so fast and so quick moving is artificial intelligence that it could be limitless how we see our workflow develop over time. For example, if you're not familiar with artificial intelligence, I can guarantee you're using it in one way, shape or another. That could be social media, that could be through your work applications. AI is heavily integrated into the way we operate in our daily lives now. And having it in a scan tool has the possibilities to be from fault to fix quicker, efficiency in flow, efficiency in how you would maybe voice command in and out of things. It has a lot of possibilities. If you aren't familiar with AI, maybe you've heard of the likes of companies that are leading the way. ChatGPT is one of those. Another big company is Palantir. They have software like Foundry and AIP, which imply large language models, and they're working directly with Ferrari and HD Hyundai, so they're already in the automotive space. These are being used for development on different processes And those large language models use deep learning trained on large amount of text data. They interpret the human language. So an input is, as we're inputting information using our voice command or text writing in, they're interpreting that, and then they can recognize and generate text, and that can assist developers to produce new applications or integrate it into applications going forward. So it's very exciting to have AI in a scan tool for the first time. I think it's going to become a very normal thing going forward. This is the first of its kind, but I guarantee you it's not going to be the last. This will be integrated more and more, and you're going to be using this in the workshop as you move forward for sure. The other new addition to the kit is the VCI, nice grip handle on it. It's got a good screen which shows you information. Same on the tool itself. You can get information related to the VCI directly on the scan tool now. And we are starting to see a bit of a pattern emerge on how this can help workshops in the future. A vehicle communication interface such as that, and having the remote diagnose and access that's now integrated into these tools, I am starting to give an idea of where the future workshops may lay. We're integrating AI. The remote access that was integrated into scan tools a while back, I felt was a major game changer for being able to do things in-house, not outsourcing, not subcontracting work, but actually trying to get it done in your workshop, especially for those that want to cover a wide band. Maybe you work a bit more remote, maybe you're not have that access to OE level equipment and scan tools that you would need to program these devices in. Having remote access so you can reach experts in different hubs and draw on their knowledge and equipment that they have available and use that in your workshop is an absolutely fantastic bit of kit. Let's say you were using a programming from another workshop that were helping you out and they were doing that remote access. You would have a battery maintainer on it for the length of it. You would be connected up directly through an Ethernet cable, so you would have solid connectivity all of the time. You can't have any dropouts when you would be doing any programming. But it may not be just programming. It could be that they remotely take over your scan tool and actually interpret some of the data that they're seeing. Maybe you have another workshop, or you have a few different workshops that you're using, and you're able to see text in different scenarios and help them out yourself. The abilities of these remote and AI integrated scan tools now are phenomenal. What it might look like repairing in the coming years is unknown, but it's very exciting, and it certainly has the ability to do more work in our garages than we have done in the past. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is the new user interface that we have here, and give you some of the hardware and the specs that come as part of this model, the 399. So first of all, a bit of the specs on it. You have a 14-inch screen, which is a great size, especially when you're doing split screen or dual diagnostics. You have the ability to tab in and out here with ample amount of space on the other side to continue the tasks that you need to do. You have a 20 megapixel camera at the back. You have an 8 megapixel camera front facing. You have 256 gig of storage, which is a good amount of storage. You do need that with the amount of files, updates, pre-scans and reports that you will be saving. So that's a good size storage in this. Battery, you've got 22,400 milliamp hour battery, which is excellent. Never had any issues with low charge throughout the whole testing process, and it does come with the included dock in this, so you're always actually going to have this one pretty much on charge in between any jobs that you would be doing. It does come with a new VCI as well, which I will show in the later parts of this video. And the user interface, I want to take you through this user interface. It's powered by the TCOS, which is the Thinkcar operating system, which again is new, powered by Android 13. And if you are familiar with Thinkcar, you would know that this layout is different. and they have done a new revamp version to make it simplified and streamlined no matter what task you would be operating with. And I do find it very easy to adjust to it, and I do like the layout of it. So for example, you have 7 items at the top here. You have diagnosis, maintenance, AI, which is a new feature, one of a kind, first of its kind in the scan tool, repair info, upgrade, other, and settings. Then you have this drop down tab here. You have a bit of information on each one of those, and then this drop down tabs that come from there. So for example, you're in the diagnosis section, intelligent diagnosis, you get this bit of information, you go across to the diagnosis, you can go in recent, all, or more. You go to the remote diagnosis, and this is an excellent feature that comes with these tools. I spoke about it in a previous video, but having the ability to do remote diagnostics, for example, when you click in here, you can create an order, and that could be for online programming. It could be you're having a problem with battery registration, tire pressure, literally whatever. You can flag it. You have your code that's down the bottom as part of the kit, and you can send off and try and get information. Now, depending on your region, this may or may not be available. It is rolling out in Australia as we speak. I have got information from Thinkcar that it's already available to some, so I would reach out directly to Logicar if you want more information on this. But this is the way of the future moving forward, having tools that can cover a wide band of stuff and pick up let's say some of the weaknesses of your workshop to be able to do them. I am following more and more people and speak to more and more people in the industry that are utilizing remote capabilities, whether it's programming different modules, and they can tap into the OE software that they have on their side to do it, or something like ADAS, where you can actually do remote calibrations for that as well. I have seen other colleagues of mine utilize that. So you have excellent capabilities and benefit having all of this in one. The remote diagnosis, honestly, that could be unlimited capabilities going forward as more and more gets added on to that. We have the next one, which is TPMS. It doesn't come with integrated TPMS like the X2. It's an add-on in it, but obviously a tool like this, it's quite a cheap add-on. It's not bad at all. And if you do tires in your workshop, you'll certainly want to be having the capabilities to do that. Battery pack diagnostics. So the integrated software that's in this, so you get 2 years free updates, and that includes EV and commercial heavy duty. And I will touch into those in a moment. You also have ADAS, which is integrated into it. You get the added board if you wanted to do that, and you can start to work on advanced driver assisted systems. They are in pretty much every vehicle that's rolling out now. It's one of those safety features that's getting rolled out more and more and more. And if you are in crash repair, collision, or if you are a workshop that wants to be capable to do more and more, especially windscreen damage or anything like that, you will need the ability to relearn into the system using that ADAS. You want to recalibrate in. The feedback section on this tab, highly recommend everybody use this. The more feedback that the company gets, the more they can adjust and fix items. There are a host of upgrades that gets rolled out all of the time, and that is through feedback as well. So if they find that you have issues or there's errors getting logged or you're having anything, I say it with everyone that uses them, use the feedback so they can actually know about it. Think file, excellent. So you're going to have all this report layout here, and you're going to be utilizing this. We're in the day and age of digital vehicle inspections in one way or another, and having a scan tool that can do it all is very important. So if you were doing, let's say, a diagnostic scan, a pre-scan, maybe you weren't going to be doing the fix on it, you have some stored ones here. Let me go into my file list. I'll tap into one of the recent ones. I'll go into diagnostic report and we can see the pre-scan here. So it gives you a breakdown, shows you what the faults were that was there. This is the AI feature, which is Ask Cleve, which gives you information on those. I will be going into the AI a bit later on this video in some of the real world testing that I was doing. And it shows you what's current, what's past, what's failed, and what's historic. So where that becomes exceptional is when you want to give as much information as possible to the customer or store it for yourself. We now have a capture of the file before we did any work. We have the date, we have the time, we know when it was done, we have the mileage. You can put in the shop name, you can put in the telephone, you can put in the technician, you can put in all that information. So it makes it a great library that you can tap into at any moment. The other thing is, if you do a repair and there's still faults logged, you can show the customer, yeah, I did this repair, but you still have other issues that you need rectifying. And with the ability of up here, you have the screen saver, or should I say the screen recorder. You can screen record all your live data captures. You have picture options up here, so you can input pictures into it, you can input videos into it, you can have a massive report and you can send it directly to the customer, which gives a very, very professional overall layout that as we go into the digital vehicle inspections that you're doing, that is the type of thing you want integrated into your tool. We go on to the programming. Having the ability to programming, including remote programming, is fantastic. The VCI in this is extremely fast. It has all the protocols that you would want to do all of the programming that you would possibly need. And again, having that as a feature is fantastic. You have the programming cables, you have all that as part of the kit. And then we have the CAN bus pin detection. If you're doing any diagnostics with CAN bus, knowing where the pins are at the OBD and having readings directly from there is a nice bit of information as well. Going across to the maintenance section up here, which is the second tab, we click on that and we have a different layout again than what we're used to. But what I like about this layout is you get information on each one. So sometimes just on the image, you may not know what that actually is. And if you click on this top corner here, this is the old type layout that you will get. So if you prefer that screen, you can still use it. But let's say, for example, motor angle calibration, maybe you don't know exactly what that is. High voltage battery diagnostics, and you're like, I'm not sure what these are. You can then go back into this and pick whatever item you want. So for example, engine power balancing, not everybody would know exactly what that is, but it gives you a small breakdown of why you might utilize that. During a power stroke of each cylinder, the power balance monitors the crankshaft acceleration to determine the relative power provided by each cylinder. So you can carry out power balance tests, you can monitor that, and now you have a capture of each one. And it's just, again, a very nice way of navigating through gas particulate filter, high voltage battery diagnostics, and this one having the ability to do EV, the software is integrated. The commercial heavy duty software is integrated, and that's 2 years free included in this. And the passenger, of course, software is included 2 years as part of the kit. So that is in a layout of the navigation side on the maintenance. Now we'll go into the AI. So up in the corner here, this is the initial screen that you'll see. You have the ability to just use one of the quick tabs, which says intelligent diagnosis, read fault codes, read data stream, full vehicle scan, which allows you to input that if you want. You have down the bottom corner here a voice command, and you can ask Cleve a question or a command that you want him to do. Now, Bear in mind, this is very new. This is a rollout, so that will be learning. It's going to be self-learning. It's going to be improving all the time, and it will be getting better with each upgrade that you do. I have found the AI very good so far. I think it adds another layer of information onto it, and depending on your skill level, your knowledge level, you could use it all of the time, or you may only use it very few. But I think having it in the tool is fantastic as well. And I'm very excited to see where AI actually goes in future iterations of this. Imagine the possibilities that could be included in future updates, the integration it could have across a whole host of these different features. So while you only have certain features at the minute, it's going to be self-learning. There's going to be updates. I know for a fact that Thinkcar are working on future updates as we speak. So we'll be watching that very much as the months roll out with AI integration into these. Repair info. Let's click on that. So we'll start over at the left hand side. You have the OBD fault code library. If you're unsure of a fault code, you can click on that. But if you're doing the diagnosis like step-by-step process anyways, you will have the ability to find fault codes as you move. Video, so watching videos of the product, just general information, learning material as well. You can click on that. Now this is what I like about having a tablet as a scan tool, but also as an information base. Now you have the ability for auto data, you have the ability for Haynes Pro, you have the ability for DDTSB or whatever, maybe ADRAD as well if you're in Australia and you want to log into different portals for OE information. And you can have them all kitted out on your tool. So if you want to pull a wiring diagram, if you need to get specific pinouts, if you want to get information on where a component location is, you don't actually know, even repair times or what maybe TSBs, whatever faults you're coming across, having it in a scan tool now, logging in, every workshop is going to have some type of manuals that they fall back on. You absolutely have to. Autodata is the common one for me. Haynes Pro is something that I've had in the past and I'm going to be getting in the future as well. I have DDTSB that I utilize, and you can put them in here and just tab in and out as you need. User manual is on it if you need it. Gateway unlock, so if that's something that you're going to be working on certain brands and you want that, that is there. So in the upgrade section here, you'll get the upgradable, so that'll show up whatever ones need updating. Then the ones that are already upgraded come in here, so 562 have already been done since this scan tool has been turned on. They come hard and fast, they are frequent, and as you can see, you can just have an idea of what ones that are there. So the actual tool itself, download services, diagnose services, screen capture recording, that was a recent update, ABS bleeding, and then all of the manufacturers as well. So that was 80 something when I switched it on after a number of days where I didn't actually need to utilize the tool, and that shows how much and how often the updates are there. So that's where that one is. In the other section, you have all this storage, or you have your album, all of the files, video and picture that you would have. So right here, I have screen recorders of certain stuff that I have done. Go back out, you can go into the system applications, you can go into third-party applications, or you can have it all in one layout. So it's a very nice way of laying this out. The battery test is, if you have a battery tester, you hook it up and you'll be able to do a battery test and save the report directly on this tool. Oscilloscope, if you do diagnostics, you're going to need an oscilloscope. If you don't have one in your workshop, or if you decide that you have one and you want the people that are using this scan tool, maybe there's multiple techs in the workshop and you want to have additional equipment, having an oscilloscope add-on is very valuable in these kits. Again, you can do a record of the captures that you have, and you can add it on to files too. So in the past, I've actually done waveform captures, done a screen record of it, and I've been able to save that in it. We have a before and after, and oscilloscope diagnostics is an absolute must for anybody doing advanced diagnostics. We have the camera there if you want that. The VCI display, you can tab in on that one. If you want to just go directly to Google and search the web, you have it there. And maybe you have applications or you want to go through portals, that's where you'll go. File manager, so anything you're storing, videos, pictures, documents, whatever is going to be in this section. Remote control and the quick support. So if we have somebody that needs remote access to the equipment, for example, if you had in the past in my workshops, I've used this one here when I wanted my IT department to dial in and check for certain faults on our applications. You have the ability for other techs to dial in, take the tool over and access information, which maybe you have a multi-site franchise and you are the one doing diagnosis, or you have a tech that's able to help out other techs in different areas without actually traveling to site. Having them remote capabilities is a very big benefit for you. Key programming, if your workshop does key programming, you can add that item onto this as well. Settings, pretty straightforward. You have all of those items there: change time zone, Wi-Fi setting, language, firmware fix, connectors, business information if you want to change names, add in text, all that sort of stuff is in there. If I go back out now and go into this all, and then as you can see the top tab here, we have EV and we have HD, so that's commercial heavy duty. If you do that in your workshop, if you're working on any trucks or anything, the software is included in this for 2 years. EV as well, software is included. The only thing is, if you're doing additional work with it, you have Tesla that's included, you may want to get the adapters, which is an add-on kit which you can purchase, and that's the same for the heavy duty, but it's included in this one, which it hasn't been in other ones. And having the ability to do EVs in your workshop, BYDs are very common where we are, and it's got those. Tesla's obviously is very common everywhere now, and it has that as well. So now we have a tool that can cover EV, it can go on and do heavy duty as well, and it can do all the passenger diagnosing that you would possibly want. So that is a breakdown of the layout of the tool, the specs of the tool, what you would expect to get if you purchased it. And now let's get on to the unboxing part of this video. First of all, the blow molded case that this comes with is nice and heavy duty, so you'll keep everything protected. If you're a mobile mechanic or you're doing any work off site, or if you're a trainer and you're traveling to different locations where you need to pack this in and out and make sure that it's protected, this case is going to do that nicely for you. On the front section, we have the scan tool itself. It sits on top of the charging dock. The charging dock is able to be stored underneath it because the stand itself that holds the tablet can be flattened down, and then we can Velcro strap it in and keep it nice and secure in position. The right hand side, we have the VCI itself. Again, that can be Velcro strapped in position and it's not going anywhere. So if you're doing any traveling, it is well protected. In the next part of this, I'm going to be showcasing what accessories you get. It comes with 4 different boxes that are labeled, and I'm going to be walking you through what those are. And on this side of the blow molded case, that opens up with these two. So when you flick that open, take off the Velcro straps, you gain access to these 4 boxes. You do get a breakdown packaging list and a user manual. So here's the user manual here for quick reference to, and it does have actual screenshots this time of the exact product. So it gives you the specs of what the operating system is and the battery and all of that, and then it gives you a breakdown on how you would navigate it should you need it. So a nice user guide with good clear imagery on this scan tool. This is the packaging list that comes included. So let's start over this side. Of course, you're going to get the scan tool, the VCI, the charging dock, and then you have mini HDMI to HDMI, clipper cable, cigarette lighter cord, fuses 4 and 2, so 2 different types. Then you have these multi adapters, the BMW, the Mercedes-Benz, and then a list of more different adapters, Cat9 HD, OBD adapter, OBD6, and You have your OBD diagnostic cable, the one you're going to be plugging into the VCI and onto your vehicle each time. Then you've got the programming cable as well that you'll be using a lot, your charger, your charging cable, Ethernet cable, type A to USB to C, and then the two items I mentioned. So what's nice about these little boxes is, one, you're not going to be taking these out all the time, and they will predominantly stay in here. If you're doing a lot of programming or you're using specific vehicles all the time with one or two adapters, you'll probably end up taking them out of the box anyways. But in this instance, you get a little label breakdown of what's in the box, so you don't have to go rummaging each time if you keep them organized. So you can see the charging cables in this one, you got your BMW connector and so on, and that's what will stay in this box. In this box we have the clipper cable, we have the lighter cord OBD adapter, and it comes in a nice packaging like that. This one you have the programming cable, OBD diagnostic cable, type A to type C as well. And if we look here, I'll get that packaging out of the way. That is the programming cable that comes with it there. Good size length cable as well. And in this one we have Ethernet cable, multiple different adapters, and then the spare fuses. So 4-piece and 2-piece. And let's have a look. And the Ethernet cable is an extremely long one, so that's really good. Lots of length on that cable if you're going doing programming, or if you need to connect up to the Ethernet to your modem directly. You want to make sure that you have enough reach on that. Obviously you're not going to have direct access beside where you want to be connecting up each time, so having a cable that's very long will be useful to you in the workshop. And again, very nice locking tabs on these to store them out of the way. So I've always liked Thinktool's blow molded cases. These locking tabs keeps everything stored away nicely. You're not going to lose it, and you're not going to have to interfere with it when you're carrying it around either. So using the other side for carrying your scan tool around and your charging dock and your VCI, and this side stays nice and clear for when you need it. So that's it. I'm going to be now bringing this into the workshop. I'm going to be trying it out on multiple vehicles and putting it through its paces. But that's what you get in the kit. That's a breakdown of it. That's the summary of the specs and everything else that you would expect to get with this particular kit. Hyundai Tucson 2007, engine management light on and running rough. So performance issues, it's running reasonable at the moment, but I'm going to be trying out the Thinkcar 399 on this vehicle now. Plugging it in, I have the VCI hooked up, and we're going to be pulling codes and having a look. So I start the smart scan on this one and check out what fault codes are logged. Bear in mind, when you're working on older vehicles, this is 2007, it does be a little bit slower. When working on newer vehicles, this thing is an absolute beast and flies through all the different modules when you're scanning it. Now we're into the report. I have a full detailed report on what has been found. We can see cylinder 3 misfire detected, has been flagged. We also have communication, CAN bus faults. So we have quite a few different faults on this one, and then I'm going to use the AI feature and ask Cleve. Now we can see P0303. AI is going to come in, it's going to generate a step-by-step like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guide, and you can get information, especially if you didn't have it before. So number 1 is check the spark plug. A faulty spark plug could be causing a misfire. Inspect cylinder 3 and replace it if necessary. Fuel injectors 2, check the ignition coil. A faulty ignition coil in cylinder 3 can lead to a misfire. Check the wiring harness, check connectors, check fuel pressures. So you're having an idea of what it could be. Now, especially if people weren't familiar with step-by-step processes, this could be extremely beneficial to you. The C1611, we are looking at that. Again, the AI is thinking through and we're getting a bit of information. C1611 for a Hyundai, you need to check possible causes, visually inspect related to wiring harness and connectors, damaged components, and you have a look through all that. And again, it can give you an idea of what might be going in. Now on this repair for the customer, I am focused in on that engine light related to the misfire, but I did want to check to see what other faults were stored in it. We are doing a pre-scan and we are going to save in all this information for the customer on this vehicle. P1726 is the next one, and it's shown it's related to a throttle position sensor input. So I did some testing off screen. I checked the ignition coils on this, and then it was take the manifold off and get in at the spark plug and the leads. And as you can see here, there's water soaked on that lead. This is cylinder 3, and we also have damage on the upper part of it. If you look in where the spark plug is, we have a nice bit of water soaked all the way up to near the top of the spark plug. So we have found the fault on this straight away, and the next thing is to actually rectify it. But looking at the AI information, it did give you a guide, and you could have an idea as to what to look for and give you a step-by-step if you so needed. Manifolds now back on, new ignition leads were put in place, and this one was ready to be scanned again. Okay, so I'm back on the Hyundai now. Ignition leads have been installed, water has been cleared out of that cylinder, and I am about to go back in and select. Okay, so we'll just do the scan, and then we will clear the codes and run it. But this will be all sorted. That rear bank misfire caused by water in the cylinder, I found out why that was. It recently had a degrease done after some oil seals, rocker covers were done, so water intrusion was caused as a result of that degrease. The seal was crimped and it wasn't installed back in the cylinder correct. So we've now rectified all of that fault. We see all of the faults that were there from earlier, which I did not erase, and it'll be as simple as clear off all these codes, bring it for a road test, and this will be ready to go home. So that's a few vehicles now I have used this scan tool on. Got in and out of everything I needed so far, live data, if I wanted to do any of the diagnostic tests like bidirectional control, if I wanted to turn off a cylinder in this one, or same in the Toyota, we had more advanced features available to use as well, which in a lot of cases will be of great benefit to you. You want a scan tool that is fully capable to command things on and off. Okay, engine lights now off. I'm going to bring this for a road test, and this should be all good to go back to the customer. Isuzu D-Max, this is a 2023, engine management light on and other warning lights on as well. I'm going to be using the Thinktool to check the fault codes and see what we have on this vehicle. Okay, I'm in the Isuzu now, about to do a high-speed scan. Valid data P2122. Let's ask Cleve.
Check the wiring, inspect the wiring harness to the throttle position sensor for any sign of damage, such as frayed wires or loose connections. Clean throttle body, remove air intake hose. Test the throttle position, use a multimeter to test for proper voltage readings, follow the manufacturer's spec. Replace TPMS if faulty. Clear the fault code. Yeah, I think there's good information there again. Wiring, yeah, I'll give that a like. So what we want to do ourselves is go back, go into that, read fault code. Okay, no freeze frame on this one. Go back, go to read data stream, and then we'll search. Okay, and then we'll test it.
So I did an initial test of the accelerator pedal position, just pressing it on and off, and you can see the value going from 0 to 100. I then bring up the graphing feature, which can be useful across a whole host of data PIDs. You can enlarge it. As you can see here, it's a very nice screen, very smooth, and you're able to see the pedal being pressed on and off. And I'm just quickly looking for any dropout potentially that might be there. Now, I'm not expecting to see anything here, and this is just the initial check before we consult with the customer to see if they want to do anything further with this. So we got a report together, gave it to the customer, and they declined, unfortunately, going any further. There is multiple warning lights on the dash in this one, so the next stages of this testing would be quite accurate with the AI process. So my next step of testing would have been one of those steps, which is check the voltages. This is a low circuit, low voltage code. So we would have been going and checking the voltage readings and make sure that we're happy with what we're seeing. I probably would have hooked up a scope. I definitely would have used a multimeter, if not, to do initial checks, and we would have done our process from there. But that's just giving you an idea that the AI integration into it does give you a summary. So if you had no idea which steps to go, you now have a good little process that's packaged together for you while you're actually sitting in the vehicle before you start to do any testing. So the next one I'm going to look at here is a Honda Accord with a check system fault on the dash. This is related to the parking sensors. Once you press that button on, it flags it on the dash and the fault code comes on. And I'm going to finish with this clip because I don't want to drag this video out too long. Also, I think this one is very interesting because I had it inspected and done the full diagnostic on it before I had the scan tool. So I was able to plug the scan tool in afterwards and see what information the AI was able to generate in relation to a process that I had already used. So in this case, the fault code is B2634, and it tells you that it's not specific to Honda, which I found quite interesting. It also shares with you some of the brands that it is associated with, and then it gives you these general steps that can possibly help you solve the problem. And number 2, visually inspect the related wiring harness and connectors for any damage. That is actually the step that you would take. This one had some rear impact, and I actually removed the rear bumper. I was able to see that it was a daisy chain type setup on these rear parking sensors. I hooked up the oscilloscope, and I even did a frequency check and found that 3 out of these 4 sensors were down. But the visual inspection across them all would actually show cracking and damage on it, and that step is in there. I know it's general information, but again, having these systems, and if you're doing any training of techs and following along a flow, having them wrote down for you after you do a scan straight away is very beneficial to try and get a thought process together on fixing problems. This scan tool is also excellent on European vehicles. I've plugged into a ton of different BMWs, Mercs, Volkswagen, Audis. I've done some Volvos, I've done some Jags, and it is able to communicate across a host of different modules, fully bi-directional capable, resets, adaptations, and all of those are capable on this scan tool. And that is it for this video. That's an in-depth look at the Thinktool 399 by Thinkcar, a fantastic bit of kit. and exciting times ahead with AI integrated into diagnostic scan tools like this. Where that might lead with future upgrades in the coming months and years, we will have to see, but it's certainly an interesting time to be in the automotive sector. If you have any questions or queries, make sure you reach out to Logicare. I'll have all of their information in the description. They are the official supplier of Thinkcar in Australia, so whether it's related to this product or any of the other Thinkcar ranges, they'll be able to help you out with any of those questions. I hope you found this information useful and informative. If you did, please like, share, comment and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.